finishing Sunoco Rookie of the Year candidate, that's Nelson Piquet Jr. He finished 9th in today's 19th annual Zippo 200 at the Glen NASCAR Nationwide Series event. And he drove the number 30 Qualcomm Chevrolet for Turner Scott Motorsports. And Nelson, just talk about your run out there today, how you thought things turned out.
Well, I knew it was going to be tough. I knew that since Road America, actually since our test in the DIR, I saw that the Penske's were quite quick. So I was wondering what was going to happen in Road America. Also, the tire change from last year to this year, we didn't seem to find the right setup, balance, whatever you want to call it, for this tire. I think last year we were spot on, obviously, but this year just seems like we're missing something. And then in Road America, obviously, wasn't the race we wanted, and I saw that the Penske's were pretty stout, and so I knew it was going to be a hard weekend over here. So yesterday I worked hard on not quali trim, but on the race trim of the car to try to see if we could find something else out of the car to suit the tires a bit better. And I thought we made a little bit of progress, but in the race, I think we got a little bit of, I wouldn't say bad luck, but I think the strategy wasn't the best. And a lot of the restarts, I was on the outside, and I was really cautious because I know there was going to be people coming in the inside, diving in, and I didn't want to risk getting into a wreck. So I lost a few positions in some of the restarts, trying to be too cautious. But then, even during the run of the race, it didn't seem we never had that great speed, you know. Nothing like we had in Road America last year. So obviously there's a lot to work on still. But yeah, I mean, it's a top 10. Nothing special. I mean, I think for a road course, the least I would have wanted would be a top 5. But I think we have to learn was what we got over here and go to try to learn a little bit for next week, hopefully.
Okay, before we hear from Sam, we'll take questions for Nelson. Any questions for our top rookie, Nelson Piquet Jr.? Any questions? One question right here, please.
I actually just wondered if your father ever makes it to any of these races.
He came to Indy.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
Nelson, we certainly appreciate your time and coming in here, and good luck next week at Mid-Ohio.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next up is our race runner-up, and that is Sam Hornish Jr. He drove the number 12 Penske truck rental Ford for Penske Racing. And right now he comes in here in a very close points battle with Austin Dillon. He's 3 out in the Nationwide Series Championship point standings. And coming right up now is Brian Vickers. Came in 3rd as these two regulars put on a good show here this afternoon. Brian drove the number 20 Dollar General Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. And Brian Vickers is 18 points out. The top 5 in the Nationwide Series points battle all separated by a mere 18 points. But let's hear from Sam. Sam, certainly you contended for the win here today, and maybe just your thoughts about how you think things turned out for you.
Terrible. No, it was a good day, man. It fastest in practice yesterday, qualified on the pole. I think Brad and I, had a great race out there. I could pressure him towards the end of the race, and actually, got him to either wheel hop or lock up a little bit and won a couple times, but just was never close enough to where I could take advantage of anything. And then with about 3 laps to go, I got really sideways through the bus stop and had her all crossed up, and I thought, man, that's gonna be real dumb if I spin this thing out running second. So we pushed hard to try to do what we could do, but had to save a little bit there at the end because I was driving a little bit too hard to be comfortable with the fact that we were gonna get the car home in one piece. So great day for the Penske organization for sure. A 1-2, and we've done that quite a bit lately, and one of these times we'll get it turned around to where I'm on the leading edge of it. But and it's a great team organization and effort, and the fact that at one point or a lot of points we had 1, 2, 3, and it was a good day for us.
Thank you, Sam. And Brian Vickers, certainly a 3rd place showing here today. Just talk about your run out here today at Watkins Glen.
Pleased but not satisfied, I guess is the best way to describe it. We obviously want to win one of these races, and but it was a great points day for the Dollar General team. We had a really good car today. I would have loved to have had an opportunity to race with Sam and Brad, but we just we lost a lot of spots on the first stop, and we're kind of fighting back to get the track position back the rest of the day. There at the end, the guys did a great job. Last stop was good, and Kevin made some good calls, and we had a quick car, and we were able to get back to third, but we just ran out of time and didn't have enough time to get to the leaders. But proud of the team. Another solid points day. It's this points battle is getting really tight. So which is great. It's fun. Having a lot of fun racing with all these guys.
Take questions. Mike Hembry's got one right here, please.
Mike Hembry, USA Today. Sam, you're 3 points back now. How much did that point come into your thinking late in the race as you were trying to figure out how aggressive you wanted to be?
When you drive around here, you can only see the top 4 spots, so I had no idea where Austin was at. But I was focused on trying to figure out how to pass the 22. I mean, it's you definitely keep that in the back of your mind. And when it got down to the point where I felt like I'd driven 10 laps where I'd driven over 100% for each one of those laps and I couldn't ever get up beside him. I could get to his bumper, but I couldn't make it to that last little bit where I felt like I had a legitimate shot to pass him. I had to just settle down a little bit and make sure that we got it to the end. And the last kind of moment that I had probably cost me 3 or 4 car lengths, and then I just was like, I need to sit here and ride and make sure that we don't make a mistake. I was pushing hard, and I knew that there was traffic and things like that we were going to catch up to. But you sit there and you're thinking about the points, and I had to remind myself that a little bit. But if I would have felt a little bit better about the car, I'm sure that I had a little bit more speed to pressure him and to try to pass him. I think that the points would have played a little bit further back in my mind.
I think you should have went for it, man.
I did a couple times, but.
Any additional questions? Bob Pockers, right here, please.
Bob Pockers, Sporting News. With next week being a standalone at Mid-Ohio, do you think the complexion of it will change? Do you think it'll be a little bit more, I guess, kind of wild?
Both of us?
Well, if Road America has any, if that's an idea of what's to come, then yes. I mean that the end of that race was a mess. I mean, you got so many guys that showed up just for one race with nothing to lose, and they don't really care how many cars they tear up. It's a mess. So it's kind of you hope you can just be in front of it or come out the other side, especially on restarts. But I don't know what the entry field looks like for Mid-Ohio. I don't know if there's any couple guys going back and forth or not.
I think Ambrose is entered, isn't he? I think that this track provides you the opportunity to not have as many yellow flags because you have so much of the off-track parts of this is paved, and there's not very many, if any, gravel traps left anymore. So when guys get off line, they have a long time to be able to get back on, like turn 1 where they don't have to feel like they just need to cut back onto the track or they get slowed down and somebody, packs them behind them. I feel like this track is a lot more set up for what these races turn out to be, and it allows it to not have so many yellows coming down at the end. And I don't think that Mid-Ohio, I think that it's going to be more similar to Road America with the way that, some people approach it. The good thing about that track is, though, that it's not quite so far around. So I think, when a car stops somewhere or whatever, it might be a little bit less yellows for trying to get somebody back to the pit lane or whatever, and bunching it up less that way as opposed to Road America.
Let's go right over here, please. There you go. Go ahead.
Kristen Bagoja, NASCAR.com. With the standings being so close, at what point do you guys change your strategy, and would you start taking bigger chances sometime down the line, and when would that be for both of you?
I think you got to take the chances when you've got the car to do it. Today I felt like this was a great opportunity for me to try to, get the a couple extra points, try to get the win. So I pushed hard to try to make it happen. But I feel like it can come at any point in time. There's the days when your car's not quite there. It's a lot about making sure that you get it to the next pit stop so that you can adjust on it, or you just work on minimizing your bad days. And that's been really our Achilles heel this year, is that we've had a lot of really good races. We haven't had any mediocre ones. They've either been really good or really bad. And what we need to do is minimize. Our bad days need to be a 15th place finish, not a 35th.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Sam. If you got a chance to win, you've got to go for it, and there's bonus points for that. That as tight as this battle is, that may pay dividends. So, but you've got to be smart about it. I mean, you can't take unnecessary risk. With these cars, I mean, you're driving so hard, so fast, and you're always on the edge. You're always taking risk. Every time you go through a corner sideways and you're going right and turning left, or going left and turning right, you're assuming a certain level of risk that you're going to wreck. Just how far do you want to push it? How much risk do you want to take? And I think that's always going to vary. It's going to vary, as the season goes on, as the points battle gets tighter. It's going to vary if you have a car to win. The risk you're going to take for fourth versus fifth is different than second versus first, and the points payout is representative of that. And then I think also, like, what happens throughout a race. If you're battling door to door with, like today, the four of us all finish, four of the top five in points all finish second, third, fourth, fifth. So, you got to race those guys hard for every point. If the guys you're racing for a championship, all have a bad day, and you got a chance to make up, say, 20 points or 15 points or even 30 points, are you going to risk? Are you going to take assume a tremendous amount of risk to get one more point? When you can just lock in 30 and go home? Probably not.